Hello,
Hello, good morning.
good morning.
Let me just turn this amazing music off. Yeah, we're waking up now. I've been up for a while working on different things, which is nice. Just since I am leaving, let me just go through oh, you said hi, cool. Just a few things here. So, these are just for shared notes. Obviously, I don't expect you to read it. In fact, it's more useful if we do see it in this view. Right, so as we have talked about a long time, there's two kinds of things the user needs to interact with. And for the simplicity, let's not call it a cube. Let's call it the writing space, like your word processing space,
Mm-hmm.
which in one way is a linear word processing space, but of course that's not everything. But that's one element. The other element is all the stuff in the space, like citations, references, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then we look at this. So if we now look at, hang on, that's where you interrupted me, which is good. So the interactions in the space are pinch direct interactions primarily. You move a card. Now,
Mm-hmm.
we can probably, okay, so the reason I think of the ring as being a context menu, logically, is that even if it's a card in space, if you pinch and then you pull it towards you, maybe slowly or fast or whatever, even that can have the ring menu come up,
Yes.
right? So then we have, I'm starting with my own world because that's what I know. So a context menu on selected text versus, because now I'm back in the word processing view, forget the cards in space, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have listed what they should be, and also there is on no selected texts, which is, if you look here in an author, on selected text, we have these types of things, right? Make it a heading, find,
Yeah.
link, define. Okay, so we only have a heading. We don't have formats because if you don't know how to do Command B in author, you shouldn't be using author, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
different in XR because you have no other way of doing it unless you have a keyboard. When you don't have selected text, you still can benefit from a context menu. So if you pinch in a spot, like you said yesterday, that's where there is a cursor, you can then add a citation, you can paste, add connected media, and so on, right? So that then goes down to more global things, like changing the view. That's where I think the palm may still, I'm not sure, may still have an opportunity. Like, you do this and you move. I haven't defined it yet. I just wanted us to see if we agree kind of on the hierarchy.
Why not?
Okay, so currently then it seems we agree that pinch is if you can touch something. If you can't touch something, you have the wrists at least for
Wait,
showing.
wait, wait, wait. On the can't touch something, what I meant yesterday with having a mini version of the space, like the dollhouse, that's for this kind of moments where you can't touch it because most likely you probably can. It's just that there is no representation of it. But if there were to be one, like for example, a dollhouse version of the space, or a cube for the manuscript in its entirety, I think it's still feasible. I don't know if it's worth it. I think in terms of discovery, it's worth it. In terms of efficiency, I don't know. Maybe for a power user, that's one step too many. Maybe not. But I'm saying that as we had a demo and I couldn't find it back, but like maybe 6 months ago, where there was like the hand. So you have your hand tracking with a glove, basically. And then there was the hashtag hand floating in space, and there was a red line between the two. Because then you could grab the hashtag hand and do something to it. Yeah.
Emily just texted. I have to get ready soon. Yes, perfect. So we can have a laser in here, so to speak. I have no problems with that as being an additional affordance when something's out of reach. What I mean is more things that don't have a thing. Like,
That's what I'm saying. It's not being out of reach. It's like typically it's not. It's not. There is no affordance to it because it's like empty space or something.
yeah,
But
but
we can add that. We can add an affordance to it to say, for example, the room or hashtag room, and then suddenly we can manipulate it.
no, I understand you. That's the code snippet route, which is great. But I'm thinking about something. So if you look at my hands now, let's say, let's pretend you are the document. So I've done, if I lift it too far on purpose, it's because I want to move it. I lift it and I snap it over to a panel here or in space. That's really cool. Pull it out a little bit, get the ring menu, which is not going to be green, just teasing. And you pull it here, there, you have one of these axes and it does a thing. Perfect. Maybe pull it up as a search like we talked about. Fine. Now let's say you want to have a view of this document showing the headings. That's where I think doing the palm up against the document and pulling out. And one thing that could be, this may be programmatically hard, so bear with me. When you pull it out, first it kind of lifts the headings, all of them. So you can now move them and place them. But if you keep going, it's not the headings, now it's the citations, right? These are the things we can play with because it would be visually cool to dimensionalize. So you pull it out and move it. Point being that this is, I'm now interacting with the whole document doing this. So individual, all.
As long as we do have, let's say, a JSON that say this is heading, this is something else, then it's not technically hard to do.
Okay, cool. I'll keep thinking about this on the flight, but there's one unrelated thing I would like to show you. And that is, you can see, right?
Yeah.
So we have Ask AI. I know it's not the biggest, but this is kind of useful. So you also know that it's easy to change your prompts. So here is change over time. What has changed during this journal? Has anything improved? Anything gotten worse? Blah, blah, blah. Use information about who I am, which I've added here, right? So if I now, without selecting, I do change over time. It's funny, this morning it's either been super quick or super slow. Let's see. I'm just quite surprised at how useful it is. And I'm wondering if, so here it is, based on your journal reflects significant milestones, balance between, okay, some of it's very vague, some of it's not. It has challenging managing technological capabilities with experiments, right? So that's that one. And this one is different, themes and evolution. I even asked it things like, has there been people or ideas that I've had specific challenges with? And of course, you and Dini are listed because, we have our challenges and disagreements. It's just quite cool that it picks that up.
I'm a bit confused of what's the point here.
The point is just that adding stuff and then using an AI now over time, it is interesting to be able to measure the change. So I think that gives us an additional direction to think about over time with the articles we're doing. Obviously, we're not jumping into AI. The reason I'm thinking about it, we have very few kind of on a scale. We have timeline, we have alphabetic, we have places for 3D. But if we just mentally keep in mind that we can extract certain changes, and we probably want to design a way to show it, like for instance, according to these documents, has Brandel's perspective on XR changed? You can say, yeah, well, it started like this and now it's like this. For example, it was just an additional cute little thing. It was this morning, so.
So as long as I get a JSON out, if it's done by Mark or an AI or somebody else on the other side of the globe, let me put it the diplomatic way, that's great. This I can work with in terms of, let's say, UI, UX, or tinkering with. I suggest in the future, skip the how it's done as long as there is something usable in terms of like the structure of information. For example, heading on heading, or another way to have It's a evolution of a time, and we entirely forget how the sausage is made. You don't tell me about it. You do it, or you get it however you want. Because I don't see how that's relevant to doing the novel thing, which is in XOR where I can help.
You explained that so eloquently, I can actually answer that question, even though it was rhetorical. Mark is somebody I respect very much when it comes especially to having read older stuff and doing references. So if there is a Mark equivalent RSS feed, obviously in JSON, I would like to employ that. I know that it is the human Mark behind it. So of course I agree with you technically and interaction-wise. But knowing that here is this perspective brought about by person, and here is another one brought about by machine through normal code or through AI, whatever, I agree with that kind of sausage. You just highlighted the person side. I think that's also really worth making possible for people to access. Like, why did Mark do it this way?
Do you, because I guess you got to go soon, do you have your headset ready and usable or not really?
Yeah, I do. Which link? Same link?
It should be like a ring discovery at the end.
Yeah, ring_discovery. Yeah. I of course I can invest my precious pre-flight seconds on this.
I think some of the changes might be helpful. Because some of it is visual feedback, so I think you would appreciate it.
Last night, my what do you mean my optic ID not recognized? Let's. I'm going to share this screen, so whatever you show me now will be.
Yes, thank you. Because I can help it, hopefully.
Let me just do persona. Okay, I just forced it to do a reset on that. We'll go here. Ring discovery, allow, okay, VR. A lot of allows. Okay, interesting. Tell me what to do, please.
So I don't see, I see your desktop screen, but I don't see your...
Of course, of course. I forgot to do that. That little step. Are you in now?
Yes, it's good.
Okay. Here I am.
Yes, great. So what you can do is pick example text and then try to use it. So you should see, okay, that's a bit fast, but good. So you saw it worked already, like it changed color, but there were two things that happened.
This is fantastic. Stop talking. Just stop talking for a second. This is just too cool. Okay, so first of all, the visual twisty thing, that was really cool. Very Iron Man, and it helps us understand this.
Yeah, it's basically, it did, sorry, I cannot not talk about it.
I know. Let's just fight over who can talk.
It's because it does, otherwise I was like, do we know if it's been applied? If there is visual feedback like the color, we know, but otherwise we're not sure. But if it does the rotation, so there will be movable, stop. So now the other step is pick the command line on top, the GXOR apply, blah, blah, blah. And then pull it on the other ring on your left indeed. So it does the rotation again, you release it. And there is a new ring. And if you look inside that ring, that's the command you just added. And if you pick any kind of text and you pull it through that new ring you just made, so and it can be the text on the right or the command, it doesn't really matter.
Sorry, what am I supposed to do?
So pick, let's say, the example text on your right and pass it through the new ring you created. And it does the thing too. So it's also functional. So you can see it apply. It was green before, now it's blue. So you can basically, from code snippet, create new rings that will apply that command to that code snippet.
I'm freezing my view on this because this conversation must be recorded and this will be the screenshot. Okay, now that's just simply perfect. Nothing else to say. Yeah, very, very good. I'm going to upload that now before I leave and have it transcribed and whatnot.
So to be honest with you, that's also why I have a bit darker eyes today, is because I had the idea, of course, in the middle of the night of a couple of those things. The idea and the solution, I was like, oh no. But anyway, it works. And I think, again, why I'm hyped by this is because it is composable, like bringing the code inside the ring to make a ring, to make new things. With this, again, the same gesture and some of the visual feedback on proximity and execution, I hope, again, naively, but I'm pretty convinced we'll probably go a long way. So that's why also we need to think of example that show not just that it works and it looks cool aesthetically, but then you can start to compose things.
Yeah, this is amazing. This is going to make my flight a little higher.
So that's why I insisted, if it was possible, of course, that you tried beforehand, because I think it might indeed open up some new ideas.
I'll be available to talk until the flight leaves around 12, in case there's anything. This is amazing. It's really, really amazing. So much to talk about, so I will shut up. Bye for now. Thank you.
Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.